A lot of crazy stuff we're discussing in there. Ignoring me won't work forever. I hope you realize that. You want my thoughts? It would be a nice change. Fine then. What the heck was that? Bringing up Luciano? Are you trying to get me killed? I had no idea you two even knew each other. You're setting me up! I don't know why you've dragged it out this long, but you're doing just that. I've got no chance in this, so just get the hell out of my face and finish already. I'm working my butt off in there. Maybe it's not for you, but it's working. The least I could get from you is a good luck. You hardly need it. Did you order Luciano to carry out those assassinations? If I say no, you won't believe me, will you? Not after all that. Doesn't matter now. I'm a dead man either way, thanks to you. I'm not scheming against you. If you're innocent... And he's tuned me out once again. I thought once the prosecution dropped the killer bomb, it would be all over. Trucy, I have an apology. I made a promise to you that if I ever thought he was guilty, I would quit. Are you breaking it? So far, he's been suspicious, and there's plenty of evidence, but, well, there's still a lot that's unanswered. There are too many questions remaining. This whole thing with MN6 and the Ravalis family, it's affecting a bunch of people. The killer had nothing to do with it, but somebody needs to find the truth. And you think that somebody is you? At this point, it might have to be. That's all I needed to hear. I'm with you to the end, no matter what. I can't give up. Not yet. I won't let you down, Jimmy. You were willing to go as far as you did. I won't let it go to waste. Order! Court is in session now. You must be the witness. That I am. Shall I state my name and job for you? Please do. Glad to see you're prepared. I've been in many a court. Even after all these years, it feels just like yesterday. Ah, so you're really prepared. The witness is a former defense attorney. I'd be disappointed if he wasn't. Objection! Hold up, ma'am. I can introduce myself just fine. I might have had some Egypt witness, but I'm not the same. Please give me the same respect I give you. Please continue. My name is Finnegan Hood. I guess I was an attorney at some point. But those days are long gone and not worth speaking of. What do you do now? Now? I guess it's just me and me daughter. I do the odd job here and there, but I've got enough saved up I can make it by. Thought about taking up piano playing I did. Heard there was a club with a new opening. Wouldn't that be ironic? Mr. Hood, speaking of your daughter, you two live next door to the defendant, correct? Aye. We're the only two houses there. Just the three of us living in that lot. We don't get too many visitors. The two houses are rather isolated, are they not? Yes. We're a ways from the big city. You'd have to go out of your way to get there. Jameson had an apartment in the city. Why would he come out so far? To meet with somebody who lived there, of course. The suspect. Yesterday's witness confirmed this. Aye, the witness was a Stephen Jameson, weren't he? No, Mr. Hood. Jameson was the victim. The witness was a woman. Oh? I could have sworn Mr. Wright told me it was the other way. Yeah! You've been feeding my witness false information. Have you sunk that low? Mr. Wright, if that is true, then you've obstructed our court of justice. Are you aware this is a crime? I didn't mean to... Ah! Witness, did he say anything else to you? Aye. He said you hadn't ID'd the victim yet. Well, that is just as false. He was here when you found out. Mr. Wright, I don't know what kind of game you're running, but I won't have this. You'd better hope this doesn't make problems for us. I'll have my eye on you today. I'll keep that in mind. If I'd told the truth, he'd still have checked, and I'd be in some other sort of trouble. I should have known he'd get the answers eventually. Now it's biting me in the rear. The witness's testimony will cover the murder of Virgil Black. He did not see the actual death, but his testimony will still be significant. I'm sure you don't need me to instruct you on what to do from here. Not at all, miss. 'Twill be easy. Mr. Hood used to be an attorney like myself. I don't know how good he was, but I shouldn't underestimate him. I know he's a crafty man. I was inside that night with my daughter. I heard some people talking out in the woods and thought it was odd. When I went to check, I had 2 people next to a bush. They were 2 men. I didn't want to get involved in no dirty business, so I got right out of there. The next day, I went to where they were and found that grave. 2 men. One of them was my client. It was mighty dark, so I couldn't tell. I won't lie and say I knew it were him. A bloomin' fool I lad be. You'd catch me right out.
It's reasonable to assume they were the killer and the victim.
That's supposition and you know it, Francisca.
Oh? Witness, when did you see this?
It was the 9th of September, I believe. That's the date Mr. Black was killed.
Mr. Black was murdered the same night and buried in that same spot. Who's supposing now, Phoenix Wright?
It was a murder, alright. The body was there in the hole when I checked. How come you didn't tell anybody about this for a whole month? Methinks you can guess why, Your Honor. Me neighbour's in organised crime. When a body shows up, it'd be a mistake to get involved.
You've come clean now, so nobody will blame you. You saw him with his killer, and that is all that matters.
Weren't you just arguing that nobody but the killer would know the location of the grave?
We did mention that, but as you'll find, Mr. Hood's alibi is rather impeccable. He simply cannot be the killer.
Well, I think it weakens your case. Is that why you didn't want Mr. Hood testifying? Oh, don't harass the lady, Mr. Wright. She's correct. The police have spoken to me and Jane, and we've checked out. I wasn't gone near long enough to commit a murder and hide the body. Oh, don't try and say I'm the baddie, sir. It won't work. A month is a long time. A lot could have happened in that period. Aye, such a shame that is. Wish I could tell you more. Guess you'll have to prove it all the hard way. That's why Francisca didn't want him speaking. She has just as little idea of what he might say as I do. I don't know what sort of game Mr. Hood's playing, but this is clever of him. I notice he's not trying to accuse Mr. Isarian at all, just a mysterious figure. By admitting he doesn't know who he saw, he can claim ignorance no matter what goes down. He's going to be careful to not leave any contradictions. Come to think of it, I don't know if I see any.
You look stumped. Mind if I help?
What did you have in mind?
Something along the lines of this.
Is that?
Yep. I swiped it before we left today. Thought it might come in handy. I tried it once before when he wasn't looking. I found out I have the same ability he does. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, I really should get around to telling them one of these days. Be careful with it. That's one thing we don't want to lose.
It's not my fault he doesn't notice when you take it right off his arm. At least I'm giving it back. Imagine if he ran into a real thief. I'll just watch the witness and point out any strange movements he's making. How hard can it be?
I don't see any other options right now. Why don't you give it a shot?
Ha! Trucy mode, activate!
What's this? Well, he's not doing anything.
What exactly were you up to?
Up to? Now there's a nasty accusation. We were just doing what anybody does on their evening. Just having a meal and getting ready for the night. We weren't doing nothing wrong or up to anything, as you put it. I never would have left if it weren't for hearing those people outside.
I don't see anything strange yet. I better keep looking.
Why is Trucy doing this? Probably should have played the Apollo games at some point.
What was so weird about that?
We don't get many people in our area. It's so off the beaten path that it always startles me when they're visitors. One voice, let alone 2 I don't know, is enough to perk me interest. You know who my neighbour is, so I get a bit on the edge when strange folk are poking about. That's all it was, really. Just me being cautious. And that's why I went outside to see who they were.
That's an interesting way to say it. You heard them by the bush?
Did it indeed. Their voices are burned into my memory since it was about all I could tell of them.
Would you say either of their voices was distinct?
I could tell them apart. Rather well, too. Couldn't put my finger on it at the time. Okay, his eyes moved. But something about those two chaps meeting by that bush just set off alarms for me. Whoa, what?
That was it. That was his nervous twitch. Now I just have to show him the bracelet and find it. And then you didn't return until later?
That's right. I left and came back the next morning. I found a pile of fresh dirt, and after a bit of poking, realized what it was. I never spoke a word of it to a soul, thinking what might have happened. I know what happened to folks who rat on the Mafia. It isn't good, no sir.
That's not too noteworthy. I just need to find some kind of nervous tick. I can find it by using the bracelet at the right place. Then we can find out what's really going on.
Okay, so 3. Save, just because I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, yeah, his eyes are twitching back and forth. Okay. Okay, wait, no. His eyes are moving constantly. Still have no idea what I'm doing. Alright, she said that this is where the tick was. Oh wait, what am I doing? Okay, so I have to actually click on that.
Mr. Hood, throughout your whole testimony, your eyes have been darting back and forth. It almost seems like you weren't sure.
Did I? Well, me lass, you can't ever be 100% certain. It was mighty dark, it was. I could barely see my hand in front of me face.
That's funny. There was one point where your eyes weren't shifty. When you mentioned the two men.
Aye?
When you said that, you looked directly at the defense bench. Right at me.
Aye, suppose I was. Didn't even notice until you just pointed it out. I don't see what it means. Why do you think I'd be staring at you? It don't mean nothing.
I think it does. You were reconsidering something. You were staring because...
You're a creep. Save. I'm gonna do that just because.
Mr. Hood, you're a dirty old man.
I deny it.
You were staring at me, you pervert. Keep your eyes off.
As you insist, child. But I failed to see why you'd call me out for this. It has nothing to do with a murder.
Oh, I know. I just wanted to get that out there.
Try and stay on track, please. I didn't come here to take accusations so low as that. And that's probably two. But now that that's out of the way.
You saw me and had to stop to think, because I reminded you of the people you saw.
You reminded me? How so?
Well, because I'm a girl.
Aye, you are. Didn't I say they were both men?
That's right. But what if them wasn't?
That sounds a little silly now, doesn't it? How could I confuse a grown man for a teenage girl?
You said it was dark. So dark you could barely see in front of you. The rest of your testimony focuses on the sounds you heard.
And if I couldn't see so well, how would I know who it was?
By her voice, of course. Even if you couldn't see them, you could hear them. But you weren't sure you could really saw two men, and had to reassure yourself by looking over at me.
Think so, do you? What makes you so sure it were a woman's voice I heard?
Well, it's a 50-50 shot. And I can't think of any other reason you'd be staring at me while talking about her.
So sure, are you? But yes, you're right. It's 50-50, isn't it? Maybe you're correct, Miss Trucy. I'll entertain you on that. I'd say I can tell a man's voice from a girl's, but perhaps not. When you get down to it, it doesn't change a thing. Not sure I 100% agree with your police work there, Mr. Hood. Aye? If one person was a woman, it changes a lot. You know what? I think so too. I like your daughter's theory that was around. I'll change my statement to that.
You don't believe they were both men?
Could be. Might have not been. I couldn't say just based on a voice I briefly heard over a month ago. Miss Trucy didn't notice my eyes wandering. Could be I thought it subconsciously. But well, we'll say it were a woman, aye? I'm not trying to take that chance. Let's just see what her idea leads, shall we? Thank you, Trucy. I'll take it from here.
Glad to help.
Alright. So, if I present the victim... Objection! You know the thing about the suspect and the victim? They were both men. It would seem so. Yet you've just labeled one of them as female. Something's not lining up. Ah, I see. That's a contradiction right there, it is. That creepy grin. It has to be him saying, "You just activated my trap card." Now, remember me memories are not so clear. But Miss Trucy says one suspect might have been a woman. And she's right, 50% chance. If we do believe one was a woman, we'd have to assume the man of the two was the victim, aye? Only logical. The man was the one found buried, so yes. Aye, and who does that leave us? The killer?
Objection! The defendant is not a woman! Not even close!
No, he isn't, is he? Look at it like that, and it must have been somebody else. As I recall, the police think that the same person killed the two people. Why was that?
The two bodies were hidden together.
Not definitive, but it makes sense. Too much coincidence otherwise. Aye, it must be someone who knew about both murders. Yes, that would make sense. I told him that in his house. He's using what I told him to make this argument. So let's work backwards, aye? Instead of asking who knew about Guildenstern, we should look at anybody who might be linked to your Rosencrantz. Seems to me, someone with him must be the one. Both murders? Rosencrantz? Oh no. See it, do you? Who was a woman involved with the Rosencrantz murder then? Only one. Objection! Ms. Porter didn't kill anyone. she did lie about the crime. Couldn't she be covering for herself?
Seems suspicious to me, Your Honor. I know me neighbor and Mr. Jameson aren't female. You're just accusing her because she's a woman? That makes no sense. Not because she's a woman, Mr. Wright. Because she's a woman who witnessed and lied about Mr. Jameson's death? If you can pull out another lass who was around for that, I'll concede. But there wasn't. She's the only one. Then it must be her. You're the one who said I saw a woman. I'm just following the logical path. If you back down and decide to swear a man after all, I'll stop going for Ms. Porter. Stop this at once. The prosecution's case is against the defendant and no one else. Aye, it could still be him. It doesn't matter to me who we choose to pursue. So, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Did I or didn't I hear two men? If I say no, he keeps going for Ms. Porter. I know she didn't do it. If I say yes, then Ms. Porter is clear, but Mr. Yossarian is the only suspect. I'm back where I started, and Francisca won't let Hood continue after this. The only way for me to avoid a dead end is to play along. Well, Mr. Hood, I'm inclined to say no. What? You know I wouldn't let you end the trial yet. I have to prevent it somehow. You can save yourself a whole lot of trouble. Just say either's the killer and it's over. Not going to happen. And I'm not giving up either. You! How dare you! Your Honor, silence him this instant!
Overruled. The witness may speak. We have a new suspect, in addition to our first. A suspicious woman with Guildenstern complicates everything. Especially after how Ms. Porter led us on the other day.
Everything I told him is coming back. He's using it all against me. Think about that. It might actually work in your favor. You might be planning this all on the fly. He's done a pretty good job if he's just improvising. So far, you don't believe Ms. Porter's the killer, do you? Not after what she told us in the detention center. There's no way it was her. Then maybe you finally have somebody worth defending. You have to keep pressing this man until he folds. He's trying to get her for some reason. Somebody to defend. I can work with that. She's not here to see it, but I won't ignore this accusation. I can't. Your Honor, it couldn't be Gladys Porter. Stubborn boy. Don't let Ms. Porter distract you from the real goal. They're not in here for her. I'll defend whoever needs defending. Right now, that's her. You say Ms. Porter had to kill Black and Jameson? Well, she lacked something very important for both. A motive. The running theory is that both incidents are connected to the Ravalis family. A good deal of evidence so far seems to indicate that's true. Personally, I'm inclined to agree with the prosecution on that much.
I see. But how does that concern Gladys Porter?
She would never side with the Ravalis family, not even if her life depended on it. Where is that thingamajig? Autopsy, ah wait, nope, back. Hit list. Alright. Sandra Waters, yeah. They were responsible for her sister's death. She's devoted to stopping them.
Another vigilante? Don't we have enough of those already?
Are you certain of this? Ask Detective Waters. Her sister happened to be his late wife. Ha! Take that, Finnegan Hood, you fool! The killer couldn't possibly be her. It was the suspect. I'm the fool, am I? At least I'm not reliant on the circumstantial motives as about myself. Is there really solid proof of this being the Ravalis clan? We have a calling card and a letter. Oh, and I suppose they were found beside the victim. Did the family admit to it all? Forgive me if I'm wrong, and please do correct me. No. Of course not. They'd only put the card out for a public murder. And the way the body was buried, you know the killer wanted to hide it. I'm no betting man, but I'd wager good money the card was found with me neighbor.
Yes, they were in his home.
Ah, and no one can definite it? And they say they were the culprits. You'll have to do better than that, ma'am. No one could say Mrs. Porter didn't have a motive, can they? What about the shovel? We don't have her fingerprints. How would she get that? Well now, I don't believe you'd be asking that if anybody prints beside the suspect. Tell me now, do ye? No, just his. Then you could use that exact same argument for any possible killer who isn't me neighbor. If you assume he's innocent, somebody must have broke into his house, stole the shovel, and planted it. Why?
To frame him, I presume. Committing perjury during his trial? Sounds like a grudge, yes sir. You're so confident just because you might have seen a woman? It weren't me who thought up the idea. We've got 2 suspects, lad. Me neighbour and Porter. Somebody's a murderer. Somebody has to answer for it all. Any accusation warrants looking into. Can you back this up apart from mere speculation? If you want me to extrapolate, I'll gladly oblige. Francisco wants Mr. Yossarian guilty. Hood's aiming for an entirely different person, and I'm defending them both. Are all the cards on the table yet? Now, I didn't know neither the killer nor the victim, but logic says who they were. I heard their voices earlier and went to check who was out in the woods. They were right at the spot where the body was found. Prosecution says both cases are connected, so Rosencrantz's killer must have been there. Among suspect, victim, and witness, Porter's your only woman. It has to be her. I see. The prosecution did explain the 2 cases must be connected. It would only be natural to have the same suspect. Miss Porter was never accused of anything more than perjury. Why not? People don't lie to a court unless they got something to hide. Did you ever think her motive may have been less than noble? How does the prosecution respond? This is ridiculous. Gladys Porter is not the one on trial. I'm sure you've seen their share of witnesses found to be the culprit. That is true. We won't know until we've delved further. Does Miss Porter have an alibi for the Guildenstern murder? I'm not sure. We only just got his autopsy completed. Bailiff, please contact Detective Waters and have him bring her here. We may need her. Right away, Your Honor. Now, let's continue with the witness's statement. This is absurd. Examine all angles, prosecutor. It's the only way to be certain. The defense, it seems, wants to consider a female culprit. But not Ms. Porter. You changed the circumstances and now I'm showing you where it leads. I'll give up on it when you do. Come to think of it, it doesn't matter if he saw a man or a woman. If it wasn't Miss Porter, he might be accusing Mr. Yossarian or anyone else. Is he playing this as he goes, or is there a bigger plan? And why is he doing it? Refresh my memory. How did you come to this conclusion? Well, my friend, there's only so many suspects it could be. I saw 2 people in what's later a murder scene. We can only assume they'd be Black and his killer. The murderer must be connected to the more recent case. The murderer, that is, if she were female, must be Gladys Porter. Are you satisfied? A little. But why don't we talk some more about... the witness. You. Let's hear about what you saw and how you saw it. Well, if it behooves you. I went and saw from a safe distance away. Didn't recognize either of them. Where were you standing? Show me a map and I'll point it right out. Amongst the 30 trees here, off the side of the trail. Those were where Miss Porter said she hid. Was she? I suppose it's a decent hiding spot. Miss Porter followed the victim there. How did you end up in the middle of the forest? Situation may have been a mite similar. I heard the voices in the woods and went to check. Just followed the trail until I got there. You heard them from your home? Those woods are very quiet. With the window open, you can hear anything. Anything, huh? Do you investigate every sound you hear outside? I would if it was a voice I don't recognize. Not many people come to my area, you know. It's not paranoia, just being sure there's no trouble. You saw them speaking and left almost right away. Then the next day you came back. Why? It gave me a bad feeling. I knew something was brewing between the 2. I wanted to know why they'd been there, but only after they'd left. Didn't want to get involved and just make it worse. You did that all based on a hunch? Well, a bloke died, so it looks like my intuition was correct. You were curious enough to come back and dig up a body. It must have been a really strong bad feeling, if that's all it was. What were they discussing? Oh, I couldn't say. I couldn't hear none of it. But you saw their silhouettes. Could you tell anything from the body language? Both man and woman were standing around the bush. It appeared the man was trying to be all intimidating and the like. He was shouting a bit, but I couldn't make it out. Truth be told, I was more worried for her than him, but the lady wasn't fazed none. Shouting? Intimidating? Mr. Black must have been pretty wound up. But that's odd. What happened next? I was about to step in when I got this sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach. Knew I had to bolt right out of there and none of us might have lived. All of you? I just felt bad. Real bad. Like intervening would get me and the lady killed. And the man did die, didn't he? That sounds very frightening. Virgil Black was a serial killer, but I don't see him massacring innocent people for no reason. This doesn't sound like Sir Galante at all. Are we certain it had to be the same killer? We've covered this. The chances of somebody else unknowingly stumbling across Black are slim. Slim, but not out of the question. What about Mr. Hood? He knew where the body was. Aye, as it so happens, I've got a nice little alibi. We never go wandering in those woods for no good reason. I was with my daughter the whole while. Don't forget I live there. The odds are heavily in my favor. 1 billion to 1, I'd say. Never tell me the odds, Francisca. The burden of proof is on you to prove they're not linked. It makes too much sense otherwise. It'd have to be the same killer. And, as you see, you gave it in pretty easily on that earlier. Are you sure the person you saw was female? Maybe. But if not, that takes us back to square one, don't it? Square one? If it's a woman, he accuses Miss Porter. If it's a man, it means our client killed both victims. Neither of those sounds very good. Aye, a nasty little Morton's fork for you. Why are you so worked up for Miss Porter for? She's not your client, my friend. Just give up on her. Defending one person is no good if innocent people still get put away. I'm not going to let you accuse Miss Porter. Stubborn lad. I'd say the same. What are you trying to do? Okay, never mind. No need to kill the victim. Finished off with a victim. Their voices earlier. Okay, so if it was, I don't know. Save again. You would recognize your neighbor's voice, right? Okay, nope. 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 Maybe evidence? There's always the map. Oh, hey, it worked. You couldn't hear those voices from your home. It simply wasn't possible. Excuse me? What makes you say that? Sound travels in the forest. Yes, but hearing human voices over a kilometer? I don't think so. A kilometer? That's the distance from his house to the crime scene. Even if they were screaming, they'd need megaphones for him to hear them.
Objection.
Aye, the distance is far. The two must have passed by me home. I followed the noise till they stopped by the bush. Are you sure? That goes against what you said earlier. They were already in the woods, according to you at least.
What are you driving at?
Simple. Mr. Hood wasn't where he says he was.
Objection.
I found the body and gave you this testimony, so I saw something. If you think I'm lying, just say it. Where do you think I was? You were already right where you said you were. The crime scene.
Ha! That's what this outburst was for? I could have told you that.
That's right. He was in the woods the entire time. Order! Witness, were you out there even before you heard the voices? Aye, I was in the woods. Then you lied!
No. Just confused events is all.
That was all a month ago. Having a hard time piecing it all together in my mind.
Then you just forgot?
That'll be it, lass. Don't you worry, it's all coming back as we speak. Your alibi is that you were inside with Jane. We were. I told her to stay put inside, and she did. Can't rightly remember why I left the house, but I wasn't out for long. I came right back after seeing what I did. Jane was still there. There weren't enough time to go all the way out and back and commit a murder. Ask her. I see. The court will make a note of this. You sneaky... How did you get out of that one? Alright, I'll try presenting Jane again now.
Objection.
Dang. Well, there's still more statements to get on this then. Whoops. Whoops. Ah, dang it. There we go. The victim. Let's hear how you arrived at that specific conclusion. Well, if it behooves ya, The victim, your Guildenstern, were Virgil Black, as the lady prosecutor stated. Could you describe the man you saw? He was a big one, alright. Kind of funny looking. Not much else I can say. Can't recall if he were the same one I found while digging that hole. It might have dark, so I couldn't make out too many details. You're not doing a very good job of proving your point. Eh? Sorry. Do you know what Virgil Black looked like? Don't watch too much news, so no. I'd say if he's the man I found, he'd look like that. Wish I could tell you more. Really, I do. There's no arguing that Mr. Black was buried there. Can we be sure that Mr. Hood ever saw him alive? Oh, that's a good point. He was knocked unconscious first.
Objection.
Your description of Mr. Black sounds very off. What made you so afraid of him? Well, he was a serial murderer, weren't he? I didn't recognize him at the moment, but some people just have a spooky demeanor. Not this man at that moment. You claim the man was standing, shouting, and being intimidating. These all seem very strange. Mr. Black's autopsy states he'd already been stabbed in the lung. It wasn't fatal. If you were stabbed in the lung, wouldn't you find it hard to speak at all, much less shout? If anything, he should have been lying on the ground, gasping for breath.
What do you say this suggests?
If Mr. Hood's memories are correct, there's only one conclusion to draw. It was not Mr. Black that he saw.
The victim was buried at precisely that spot. Who else could it have been?
Honestly, it could have been anybody. Anybody? Why do we assume nobody else could pass through the area? Nobody has claimed to have seen the moment of death. The witness has yet to give a satisfactory description of who he saw. Nay, I haven't. But the body would have fallen today. Somebody killed the man. Somebody. Mr. Black couldn't do any shouting. So who did you see? There must have been another man who hadn't been stabbed. He must be a suspect too. Ah, there's the beauty. A man who might be the killer. Do you suppose he's also the killer of Rosencrantz too? That might be Mr. Usarian. The prosecution is fine with our original theory. The witness saw the defendant instead. The ambiguity is killing me. Mr. Hood, something just struck me. It's unlikely that either of the people you saw were who you claim they were. Not only is there a good chance you didn't see Mr. Black, but you didn't even witness the actual attack. Who's to say he wasn't dead long before you got there? Who else would it have been? With the body found there, it couldn't be anybody but the killer and the victim. Maybe. Maybe not. As the witness has so insistently pointed out, his memories might be wrong. He did manage to somehow forget that he was already in the woods when he stumbled across them. Do you think there's something wrong with that? Why was he out there to begin with? Witness, could you please answer that? Couldn't rightly say. I doubt you were just wandering around in the woods for no reason. There's only so many reasons you would be outside that late. I think you... When you really get down to it, there's only two reasons you'd enter the woods. Either it was for your own leisure, or there was something some more pressing matter. A need or a want? And which did you say it was? Suppose it was? Your testimony thus far suggests you and your daughter were winding down for the night. On top of that, you just had a big mess in your home, which needed cleaning up. Now was not the time to be wandering around outside just because. You left your home because it was absolutely necessary. You needed to find something. Don't be a silly lad. There weren't nothing to find out there. When you were in the woods, you heard two voices. Why did you go to them? Doesn't rightly matter now, does it? I'd say it does. I think you recognized one voice, and it was just who you were searching for. He was looking for a person? That's right, and I think I know who it was. All these cleverly hidden lies are about to unfold. I haven't figured out. Mr. Hood used to be a defense attorney. He's just doing his job. He's defending somebody. That's why he's going after Miss Porter. He doesn't want me to even consider pursuing the person he saw. With that in mind, Mr. Hood, you're lying. Ah, am I? Yes. Am I? Yes. I mean, maybe. It's possible, I suppose. But you don't seem to be anywhere near the right track to proving it. Well, I tried calling him out and failed miserably. You didn't report the murder for a whole month. Now you're pursuing Miss Porter, just because Trucy thinks you might have seen a woman. But really, you just wanted me to back down from a female suspect. You thought you knew the young woman you saw there that night, and it wasn't Gladys Porter. You're trying to protect her.
Objection!
Out with it! Say it, damn you! You were looking for your daughter. You saw her speaking to a strange man. The next day, you found the grave. It doesn't take an Einstein to connect these dots. Gobshite! It weren't her I saw. Then why did you leave your home to go into the woods? Can't say I recall the reason, but do I need one? I can leave my house just as much as I please. I wasn't even gone that bloody long. Your alibi and Jane's rest on the assumption that you two were together. If you weren't at home, neither of you is cleared. You or she could have been anywhere, even speaking to our mysterious man. You bloomin' twit! You can't just pull nonsense out of your arse. The two of us didn't kill no one. You're just grasping.
I must concur. His daughter's statement to the police closely matches his own. Are you sure about this?
Their statements would match if they conspired together. We know Mr. Hood was doing something out there. At the very least, this means his daughter was unsupervised the whole time he was gone. At most, she might not have been home to begin with.
Objection!
I won't stand for none of this, no sir. We've got our alibis, and you can't be accusing neither of us. I even told you about the whole story the other day. Alright, I'm gonna cut it here.